technical difficulties due to commissioners not getting our stuff done in time to let IT do their work. So we are, we'll go ahead and call our meeting to order now at this time. I would ask everyone to please silence your cell phones. Appreciate each and every one of you that's come out tonight to be part of our meeting. First thing that we need to take care of is our Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone please stand, remove your hats and join us. Colonel, would you lead, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Colonel. Our next thing will be a brief moment of silence, please. If you'll join me in observation of that. Thank you. First official item this evening will be the agenda approval, and we do need to modify the agenda slightly. We are going to pull out item 2G from the consent agenda, and we need to move that to closed session because of an attorney-client privilege issue that needs to be discussed. So we will do away with not do away with it, but we're going to move 2G down, and actually that will become 7I, and that will be an item in closed session due to attorney-client privilege. We will also be moving items 6A and B to closed session. They will be item 7J and 7H respectively, and that is due to a closed session item because of necessary property acquisition discussions that will have to take place. And just so you know, anybody who may be here, there will be included in the county manager update will be a update on the progress for the fairgrounds renovations up there as well. So if anybody was here specifically to hear about that, just so you know where that's going to take place, that'll take place under the county manager update, topic number 7. So any other adjustments to the agenda that we need to make, gentlemen?
General Wickle,
Yes, sir.
item 7F is now county board appointments.
I'm sorry, I failed to mention that. 7F, county board appointments will be 7F instead of 7H. Thank you, Colonel. Any other changes? Mandy, we good? You got everything? Okay. All right, so this time I will make the motion that we amend the agenda as I have just explained. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chairman Hensley. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? All right, we have amended agenda. So then that leaves us with our next topic this evening is going to be the consent agenda. And the consent agenda consists tonight of the tax refunds and releases, the 2021-18-180 State Capital Infrastructure and Fund Directed Grant Amended Capital Project Ordinance, Madison County Public School System Repair and Renovation Fund Request, Amended Capital Project Ordinance for the Spring Creek Community Center Building. 2E is a resolution approving French Broad River MPO Memorandum of Understanding. 2F is Cooperative Extension Value Added Kitchen Amended Capital Project Ordinance. 2H, which is now 2G, is the Spring Creek Community Center Building Construction Contract. 2I, which is now 2H, is the ASPCA Grant Agreement. And then the last piece of the consent agenda will be 2I, which will be approval of the February 3rd special meeting minutes, February 11th regular and recessed meeting minutes, as we have all been provided by our clerk. So this time I'll entertain a motion that we approve the consent agenda as I have just explained.
So moved.
Motion by Vice Chairman Hensley. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wyatt. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Consent agenda is approved. Next official item of business is public comment. And so this time, we've got 3 folks that have signed up for public comment. And first individual, well, just so everybody knows, you have 3 minutes of public comment. After your 3 minutes are up, we will notify you and ask you to cease. And at that point, or when you come up, please introduce yourself. Let us know what community you live in, what you're representing, and then we'll start the 3-minute clock. First person up this evening is Mr. Matthew Ponder.
My name is Matthew Ponder, and I live in Marshall. Well, first thing, I hate to make a generalization taken by this board, but I was unable to find the information that I needed to accurately say who made what decision. Would like to thank Mr. Hensley for taking time to talk to me after I reached out. How ironic that I'm in a building dedicated to the future of agriculture in front of a group of individuals that stand against it. As I stand here before you tonight, I've never been more disappointed in a group of elected officials that have made a decision to pander and virtue signal to a select few, put the benefit of this county above all else. For a group that claims to be open government, this forum is indicative of how this process was ran. You can't answer questions. I asked for the minutes of the meeting where some of you made a decision to hire an expert witness in my case. That was not given. I asked for an invoice of what the action cost the taxpayers. You claim attorney-client privilege for an invoice that our tax dollars paid. We have no idea how much money was spent on this action or any others. I appeal an administrative decision that was incorrectly made, a zoning decision that your own attorney and zoning administrator couldn't support. You made a decision to hire a $14,000 expert witness and keep their identity secret until 1 hour before a meeting took place to support their decision. How many times in the past has this been done by the county? This board made a decision to signal to the Board of Adjustment, the supposed unbiased board, which direction you wanted a decision to go. You made a choice to use trickery and allow John Moore to raid the coffers of the county and hoodwink you in the process. For the record, the Department of Agriculture and the Department of Environmental Quality stand in support of this process. Do you know the businesses and the people that you've affected by interfering in this hearing? The removal of grease waste is a necessity in Madison County. The landfill can't take it, and the county sewer plants can't process it. Bojangles of Mars Hill, Little Creek Cafe, Mars Hill College, Zady's, Elderberry Nursing Home, Hadley Point, just to name a few of the businesses that use my services to remove their waste. They do the environmentally responsible thing. They pump their grease traps to prevent the waste from entering our water supply. You guys have missed the point. Without proper maintenance, the waste goes into the drinking water, the rivers, the streams. You've made a decision that will cost each and every one of these businesses and their patrons. I offered a solution for a problem. I found a way to take a waste product and make a beneficial product for not only my farm, but any other farm. A win-win. Allow a lawyer from Hall Creek and a temporary zoning administrator to make a decision on what is agriculture and what is not on my land. You as elected officials have made the choice to not only go against agriculture, but to go against small businesses and the people of Madison County.
Mr. Ponder, your time is up.
Now in a couple of weeks.
Mr. Ponder, your time is up. Thank you, Mr. Ponder.
I don't guess you would want to hear the rest of it.
Forgive me for mispronouncing the next name, but Hasina? You've got 3 minutes.
Okay. Hi, I'm Hasina. I'm from Hot Springs. I live over on Fairview Loop, and we're part of the Hot Springs Water Project. And I just wanted to share a few words. I don't know how much you all know about it, but we are on a community well. It's about 20 households. It's about 35 people, and the well is very old. And we have been working with McGill, and we got the state grant to fund the water project. And I think you all will be voting on it now in a closed session, if I understood correctly. So we just wanted to relay the importance of the water. We were out of water for a week at Thanksgiving. We were out of water for 6.5 weeks. Now these people, these 30, 35 people that live on this well, I am one of them. Everybody has, yeah, I don't know what to say about running water. It really is great. And, you know, I don't mind the extra workout from the buckets, but my arms look great, but man, my back is tired. It's really hard to continually carry buckets. I have livestock I gotta take care of. Thankfully, those animals, they have rain barrels, but some folks even carry a case of water. The elderly can't continually carry cases of water. We do appreciate the free water, but to have to carry cases in and out loading is really hard on a lot of folks. We have single parents, we have disabled folk on this water system, and I just want to say, you know, I hope you really do consider, you know, voting to allow us to be hooked up to Hot Springs water. They looked in Fairview Water Association. There's 1 or 2 people that are able to work on the well, but these people, we all work full time, and to have to deal with that water is very challenging. So I just wanted to let you know my thoughts on the matter.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
And our final person signed up this evening is Connie Mullen.
Hello, y'all. Good to see you. I missed it last month. I was in the TDA meeting, so I didn't get here in time to sign up for public comment. I am here to talk a little bit about downtown Marshall. Obviously, we have been moving forward with all of the progress. Right now, there are on Main Street 2 businesses that are open. On Your Bike is open, and Shady Side Florist. Hopefully by the end of March, we will see 4 more businesses open. Madco Brewery is going to open. I don't think they have their pizza oven back up and running, but they hope to open in the next 7 to 10 days. And March 27th, which is 6 months to the day since the flood, that is when Flow Gallery, my gallery, is going to open. There's 2 more, but I'm not going to say who they are because the date just keeps changing, and they're getting frustrated because, you know, when you're doing all this tedious work, it just keeps moving forward. So I don't want to say who it is, but they're both foot forward businesses, so that'd be good to have that many businesses that can see people in town. April will have a lot more opening, and then May 1st through 4th. 4 days in a row, we are going to have a grand reopening. There's a committee of people that are working on coming up with something that's going to be fun. We're going to have a ribbon cutting, of course, on the first day, on May 1st, May Day. That'll be at 4 p.m. There is going to be, in addition to, they're calling it, I should say this, Avia, they're calling it Marshall Magic. This is the Marshall Magic Days. There's going to be vendors selling artwork and locally made goods. Not sure where that's going to be. Typically it would be over on the island, but we don't think, we don't know what the state of play will be there. We obviously take a lot of pride in our musical heritage, so there's going to be music playing at various businesses, Zadie's, Madco Brewhouse, Mal's, Zuma, and On Your Bike. They're all going to have local musicians. We're going to have a live outdoor thing on Jerry Clements Way. We're also going to have an art walk. Gotta have an art walk, right? Which is going to include some sculpture, and this is the Arts Council putting it on, some sculpture and other works made from items found in the debris. And there will be a children's interactive thing. We love doing that. And we can bring families in and have the kids making art. It's always fun. We know that Hot Springs is going to be reopening and having their opening on Saturday, and we want to make sure that we are working together with Hot Springs. So we want to encourage people to come to Madison County. You have a lot to do. You can come to Marshall, come to Hot Springs. We're going to not overlap. I'm done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Con.
I hope y'all will come.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. This time I entertain a motion that public comment be closed.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Garrison. Is there a second? Second by Vice Chairman Hensley. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? All right, thank you, everybody. Up next is Chris Watson with the Community Housing Coalition, and Chris is going to update us on the Madison Alliance for Rebuilding Communities. And Chris, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you.
Again, my name is Chris Watson. I'm the Executive Director of the Community Housing Coalition and now serving as the Vice Chair of the Madison Alliance for Rebuilding Communities, shortened for MARC, which is Madison County's long-term recovery group. I just want to take a minute to thank Rod and Mandy, who I've been working with every Monday to understand the needs in the community, work with FEMA and the state. Through that, they've been really helpful and helping us manage those sometimes difficult bureaucratic processes to understand what's going on through FEMA. And I also want to say, working throughout the county and the county staff, whether it's Tammy's group at the health department or Sammy and his group down at Solid Waste, Brad and his team have been a big help. Everyone I've worked with, the county employees, has just been so patient and had so much grace through this really challenging time that I just can't speak highly enough of the staff of Madison County. I really appreciate everyone and I'm proud to call this place home. So thank you all. We began forming a long-term recovery group using the national model. This is how communities come together after disaster and manage the long-term recovery and make sure there is a full and equitable recovery for everyone in the community. That's our goal. We officially formed a board in January. And we've got 4 initial committees that are up and running and doing work. Often it feels like we have so much to do and we haven't done enough and there's so much need and we're not moving fast enough. From what I've heard from folks working at the state level and the national level who work in disaster is that Madison County is way ahead of the curve. We are way ahead of the curve as far as Western North Carolina is concerned, and we're in a really good spot. We're asking the right questions. We've got the right people at the table. We're doing all the right things. So even though almost 6 months feels like a long time to get a long-term recovery group, that's really a short time frame. So we're really feeling good about that. And in large part, I think that's because, one, we have a strong community in general that comes together, and then we also have really good, well-established nonprofits in our community that have been a part of bringing this together. I know the county and the commissioners have been big supporters of our nonprofits for years. Really appreciate that, and just saying that investment really pays off when there's a disaster and there's a huge need, because we were able to come together. We've got folks at the table and on our board, like Jesse with Beacon of Hope, Sarah with Mountain Valley RC&D, Community Housing, as well as some of the newer nonprofits that have popped up in response to disaster. So really excited that we've got a strong board. We've got a lot of folks that are familiar with the county and coalition building within the county so we can get this work done. So again, the LTRG's role is to manage the long-term recovery of the disaster for families and individuals. We are here for the next 7 to 10 years or however long it takes to make sure that everyone has a full recovery. We have started some key initiatives, kind of the initial things we're doing. The first and most important was developing spiritual and emotional well-being and resources for survivors. Throughout the fall, residents were coming and saying, we need building materials, we need heat, we need propane, we need clothing. Starting in January, they really saw a shift when the weather got cold and people were in campers and they're down by the river, and it started to be people coming in and saying, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm losing my mind. I'm in real trouble here. I feel like I'm falling apart. I feel lost. I really need some help. And so we mobilized really quickly to bring in and find resources for trauma-informed therapists, bring pastors in to offer prayer and spiritual guidance, movement classes, group therapy classes, making sure we're having regular community survivor meetings so they could come together and be in community and talk about their experiences and talk about what their needs were, and making sure that we could meet their needs as best as possible, doing everything we could to make sure people were warm and felt safe and fed. That was a huge community effort, still ongoing. We are also working with the community and trying to get the word out for anyone who hasn't filled out an application with FEMA to get an application in if you were affected by the storm. Future resources, federal, state resources are allocated based on FEMA application numbers. And so we thought it was one last push, and then we just found out they pushed out the FEMA deadline. I think it's April 7th now. So if you know anyone who's been affected and just doesn't feel like they need to fill out a FEMA application, they can still get it in, they can still get help. We're also helping with FEMA appeals. We've set up workshops with legal aid and physical legal coming in to help people do their appeals and work through that process, because it can be difficult. And knowing that often it takes a couple of appeals before you can get what you deserve out of FEMA. But with some help, you can get the money and you can get the resources that you deserve. We are working on, and have already created over 30 detailed recovery plans, sitting down with families and going through and saying, what are your unique situation? What is your recovery needs? What does recovery look like to you on a very holistic basis? Figuring out those needs and working to develop resources to do that. We are slowly starting to outreach to everyone in the community and know that Mark is here. We want to hear from you. We're slowly rolling that out because although we're now an organization, we're still working on getting our website, email, phone number, social media stuff up and running. So once we have that, you'll see a whole lot of information coming out on how to contact us. Right now, it's personal cell phone numbers, it's other organizations' emails. So we want to make sure we have one central place for folks to come, so they don't have to continue to tell their story to multiple agencies. They can come and they can talk to Mark. Mark will be the hub of recovery for families of individuals in Madison County. And then Mark will say, okay, let me connect you with resources. Let me connect you with community housing. Let me connect you with Samaritan's Purse or Baptist on Mission or some of these other groups that are working. Do you need food or appliances? Roar's got food. We can help get you appliances through Marshall Belief Alliance, Beacon of Hope. So bringing all that together, working with Madison or Mountain Valley RC&D for stream bank restoration. A huge, something we usually didn't think about when we were doing housing, but we got to repair housing, but we got to stabilize the stream bank so it doesn't further erode. And then, our biggest, one of our other biggest worries right now is we're securing funding, trying to find money. We need to hire staff. We've got staffing plans. We've got needs in the community for building materials and hiring subs and getting work done. It isn't being met, so we're trying to get funding in for that. And hopefully within the next few weeks, we will have a physical space available. Community Housing Coalition has closed Reclaim Madison permanently and is renovating that space into office space. Part of that will be housing Mark and be a central location within the county for people to come. They can talk to someone in person, they can sit down, they can get help, with the FEMA applications, they can get assistance however they need it. Or they can just sit down and talk to somebody because they're having a bad day, or they didn't sleep that night because it was pouring down rain and they were worried about the flooding. We do have, I showed 9 board members on the sheet I gave y'all, a really strong, well-represented board of nonprofit leaders. We've got 2 CPAs, one who specializes in nonprofit accounting, as our chair, Slater Solomon. Asina, representing Hot Springs, is on our board, as is Brad, County. We do have a few spots open. We're looking for some folks that have, the passion and the commitment, but also have capacity. Most of the people on this board have full-time jobs and children, so they have 2 full-time jobs. So we're looking for some folks that maybe have a little extra capacity to give and help us organize. And then we've got about 20 to 25 volunteers that are working on committee stuff right now and other tasks. To give you a little bit of the impact that we've made, even as we were forming, we do have a certified disaster case manager, so we do have one working in the county directly for Mark, in addition to some state resources that are coming in for disaster case management. We're working with over 70 families that had major damage or loss due to the flood. We worked with Madison Ministries, and they've repaired 10 homes through their rapid rebuild program. So that's to get folks back in really quickly. We've got 3 families approved for single-wide mobile home replacements through Samaritan's Purses, single-wide mobile home replacement program. In addition to a lot of other things that Samaritan's Purse and Baptist Missions have done in the community, we've managed and coordinated 10 camper donations for folks to get them in safe housing on their property through the winter. And then we're holding bi-weekly community survivor meetings. Those are every other Tuesday. The next one is next Tuesday. We hold those there at Community Housing Coalition 798. We've got, last count, we had 6 people back in their homes, 6 families back in their homes. We've got 26 homes that were heavily damaged that are awaiting repair. And then we've got 9 homes that are what did need replacement. And those are the numbers we have. We're getting kind of new folks coming in every day. Those just give you an idea of the numbers we're working with as of today. The last thing I'll say is on Friday, March 28th, the Emotional Spiritual Wellness Committee is planning a 6-month anniversary event in Marshall of the flood. Time to come and remember and grieve and celebrate progress. So we're going to have resources available, speakers, music. It's going to be kind of a mix of a celebration and a grieving process. And I think they're talking about doing, once the sun goes down, doing a lantern walk over the island, doing a little bit of a ceremony of the island to mark the 6-month passing of the flood. So hope y'all can join us there, because we do realize in talking to other organizations and communities that have been to disaster that it can be really helpful to the community to not just celebrate the progress, but to recognize and grieve the loss. Y'all have any questions for me?
You make sure that you send email out to us on that information.
Yes, all that will get, and it'll get shared with the county, so it goes out on all the county Facebook pages, and we're working on that now.
So the 9 people that you have right now that have total loss homes, is there a game plan moving forward with those folks? Are we looking at manufactured housing? What are we looking at for those kind of folks? Or are you even at liberty to say?
There's a couple that we're working with. We're trying to, they were denied, there's a couple of families that were denied single-wide replacement through Samaritan's Purse because they don't make enough money. And there was, I guess they have some limitations. They want to make sure they can pay their taxes and things like that. So we're working with those families and Samaritan's Purse to see how we can appeal that and maybe find some workarounds. We've got a couple of, we've got some families that are looking to move off. They don't want to rebuild by the river. They want to rebuild elsewhere. So we're looking at how we can help them rebuild. Some of them have identified some land. Some of them are looking for land. We've also got some folks that want to rebuild next to the river, but there's rebuilding is that process is going to be very complex and nuanced, from things like when the house was built 100 years ago, there weren't certain right-of-ways. So not only is it difficult to build next to the river, but now we've got right-of-ways, family, the deed issues were never satisfied when grandma died, and now we've got 40 people on the deed, and it's got to be figured out. So there's a lot of different things to go through to help these people. So part of what we're asking for in some of these funding applications and helping with is legal help through some of those deed issues. We're working really closely with Forrest and Caitlin and Atlanta Scott to talk about setbacks and right-of-ways and how we can manage some of that. You know, one lady's house was great, and then the railroad company expanded their right-of-way years ago, you know, and she was fine, she was grandfathered in, but not grandfathered in for a new house, so, things have changed since a lot of those houses were built, so we're navigating a lot of that. So, that answers your question. We do have, some people have a relatively simple, we can just put a new mobile home and Samaritan's Purse will do it. Other folks are, we're looking at, honestly, 18 months before we even figure out how we can start building on that. That was a long answer.
Anybody else have any questions for Chris?
Please reach out anytime if y'all have any questions or know of anyone in need.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much. Thanks for what you guys are all doing for everybody. All right, up next on our agenda is going to be Finance Officer Carrie Ledford. Carrie, the floor is yours.
So good evening, gentlemen. Tonight before you is budget amendment number 9. With this amendment, you'll see donations to your library from the Friends of the Library for $572.94, as well as additional revenue in the amount of $1,619.19 from the E-rate program. Please see the movement of funds from the tax administration salary lines to the temporary salary lines, as well as additional funds to the custodial department salary lines. Your animal control department has received additional donations in the amount of $5,000 from Mars Hill University. And you will see the recording of the increases of the fire district fund to account for the additional revenue and the corresponding expenses of our fire departments. Find the increase in interest to offset additional expenses to your maintenance department. And here too, find the recording of additional revenue generated by the quarter-cent sales tax in the amount of $58,416.91.
It's a pretty good jump, wasn't it?
It's more than it was last month. It's leveling out to what it was prior to that.
Okay, gotcha. Good deal. Any questions about budget amendment number 9? And this amendment appears to not add or subtract anything from contingency, is that correct?
That's correct.
Very good. This time, I'll entertain a motion to approve budget amendment number 9.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner White. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garrison. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen. Next, you'll find item B, which is February's financial report. We are 66% way into FY25 budget. You will see that for our general fund, we have received 72% of our revenues, and our expenses are at 52.46%. Sounds exciting, but be advised that a lot of our bills do come in the last quarter of the year, so I expect that number to increase monthly.
Any questions about the financial report? All right, thank you. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
All right, our next item is going to be county manager updates. Colonel Honeycutt, the floor is yours.
Mr. Jim, before I get started, we'll give you a couple quick updates on stuff that's not on the agenda that I think you need to be aware of. First, with the rodeo and the covered arena, the storm created a little bit of a slowdown there, and then we had the project manager for Providence step away from the project. Providence is a very good, reputable construction company. They did the Tryon Arena. They want to do the best they can. They have now come back to us with a general manager who will replace that project manager, and we will bring that in front of the board for your acceptance. And of course, the RFP, if they change the team member out, they got to bring it for your approval. We have designed the RFP in 2 phases. The first phase is between now and June 15th, and that's to set conditions for July 4th. So we'll have the rodeo on July 4th. Phase 2 is on completion of the July 4th rodeo to the county fair. We believe we will have all the construction done during that timeframe. You should expect to see that contract come through procurement and to county board of commissioners in March. Right now, we're looking at constructing a 300 long by either 175 or 200 foot wide covered arena. It's going to depend on price when that contract comes back. And the fairgrounds and the rodeo guys have sat with us, both Rox and Jimmy Huffman have been at the hip with us, and we're going to do our best to make sure that we have the the county fair and the 4th of July. It might be a little slimmed out version, but we're going to put it on. Jim, subject your questions.
Okay, I think we're good, Colonel.
All right, Jim, I got to thank the state auditor, Dave Bullock and his team for a snap audit of the county human resources, our finance and our tax department operations and procedures. Dave's team was very complimentary and appreciative of the transparency of the departments, specifically the audit review secondary job policies, procurement of capital and other services, and county present use value. They're all in compliance, and they found that we were in compliance with everything they looked at. Just want to thank them up front for coming in and looking. Never thought I would say this out loud, but NASA is at the Marshall Library. So if you've got time over the next, between now and May, go by the Marshall Library and see exoplanets, what's beyond our solar system. I think that's right, beyond our solar system. And that will air tomorrow night on WLOS TV on the Carolina Minute. So that's good advertising there. Quick FEMA update. I want to thank Chris and his long-term recovery group. They've been very proactive every Monday in reaching out to our survivors. Temp government facilities at Elizabeth Lane are complete. IT, along with EM and FEMA, will be in operations in their 2 temporary facilities next week. Carolina Lane forecast, releasing RFP for site work this week with grade and utility work within the next 21 days. The modular units will begin arriving up at the fairgrounds on 24 March. We forecast the county to transition the court from this building to the building next door in late April. Mark Cody and his team have kind of given us a hard stop. They're at training because of the e-court in June, so we got to set conditions to be in everything because they won't be available. That's kind of what we're working towards. Both personnel and water weight debris removal has started on 10 March. You have an advertisement at your desk. Debris Tech has accepted applications at the Marshall Library, the Mars Hill Library, and the Hot Springs Community Center. The last day for sign up will be March 22nd. I ask you to go to MadisonCountyENC.gov and look at the advertisement there. And you don't have to go to the one in your community. If it's on a day that you're available, go to any of the Debris Tech sites and sign up. If you go, you have to take your most recent tax bill, a valid state driver's license or state issued ID, a utility bill from the time of the event, and a homeowner's insurance policy. In the case that you have to do demolition, your house deed is required. Gentlemen have stressed during their visits to Washington, D.C. and Raleigh for on-hand cash flow and as a concern for it facing every county in western North Carolina. In addition to $5.1 million in individual assistance, last week we received $1.6 million from the state cash flow loan program. That cash flow loan program is a 5-year interest-free loan. And we have nearly $10 million pending in FEMA congressional review and in the grants portal, with an additional $54 million working through the grants portal. And you have that update in front of you as you walk across each one of them. Our fund balance remains healthy, as the Madison Finance Director stated, and it is limiting our impact on our day-to-day operations. Jim, subject county, subject questions, we'll go to 7A.
Any questions for the Colonel? Colonel, go ahead.
All right, gentlemen, Town of Marshall collaborated with Sheriff Harwood, and they have donated a car to the county. It comes with a little bit of risk. It's as is, and I just need to make sure that the board understands it's coming to the county as is, and request that you accept that surplus vehicle from the Town of Marshall on behalf of the Sheriff's Department.
This is a, I assume, going to be a patrol car, Crown Victoria patrol car.
Crown Victoria 2008. And I will need that in the form of a motion.
So I will make a motion that we accept this donation from the Town of Marshall for the Madison County Sheriff's Department. Is there a second? Second. Second by Vice Chairman Hensley. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the donation? All right.
Gentlemen, next is 7B, that is surplus property. This is a 21.5 acre that had an amount of $6,000 bid against it. The board elected to accept that bid and now has the opportunity to accept and go final, reject, or submit a counter offer.
So this is the bid we accepted at our last meeting. We advertised it for upset bid. There were no upset bids, so the original $6,000 offer is what's on the table. At this time, I would ask what is the will of this board to either accept, reject, or counter offer.
So move, we accept it. Second.
Motion by motion by Commissioner Garrison that we accept, second by Commissioner Wyatt, that we accept the $6,000 offer, put this property back on the tax rolls. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor? All right, let's put it back on the tax rolls.
Gentlemen, the next three items are similar items. It's leases for our community centers. Up first, and Ms. Boyd will be the representative for Ebbs Chapel. We've had a very good conversation with Upper Laurel community, and we think that we have come to an agreement for them to lease the Ebbs Chapel facility for $1 a year for 5 years. We have joint responsibilities in seeking grants. We maintain to pay the utility bills, electrical bills, and this is only the grounds surrounding the building. It does not include the ball fields or the youth rec league. Now I'll ask Ms. Boyd if you have any comments or questions or anything I need to add to that. I think she's good.
All right. Ms. Boyd, no comments about the lease? Your group is willingly accepting the lease, is that correct?
The gentleman, now the decision is yours to approve, deny, or table for further discussion.
All right, gentlemen, we heard what our options are. The folks at Ebbs Chapel are good with the lease as it has been presented. And at this time, I'll entertain a motion to do either of the three options.
So move.
I have a motion by Commissioner Garrison,
Second.
second by Commissioner Wyatt, that the lease for Ebbs Chapel Community Center Upper Laurel Community Organization, that is the Ebbs Chapel property, that be approved. Is there any discussion?
Colonel, how does that place this? Is there anything in the lease agreement specifically to the mill site?
It is not in the lease agreement for the mill site at this time, no, sir.
Has there been any conversation about ensuring we have that ability?
We will entertain and asking for language to be added to the lease that guarantees the county to operate the mill site as long as you have the lease in effect.
That actually is a contract with DSS, correct?
It is a DSS contract.
That's a separate contract with DSS.
Yeah, but I don't want to give them a lease if we get kicked out.
Understood.
No offense, I know they wouldn't because it benefits their community, but it'd be good to have something in writing that affords that so that we continue to provide those services to senior citizens.
Ms. Boyd, you're all right with that? Okay. So if you guys will get together on that, we can approve, I think we can approve the lease contingent on that agreement. Is that correct, Mr. Attorney?
We can.
All right.
Let me look right here real quick at all the provisions and both sides.
And Colonel, as far as the sewer issue, there's clarity on the responsibility for that.
It's joint. We help them find grants and resources to correct it with contracts written.
That sounded pretty vague.
Found the number set you take on that property. Get your chin. It's near the dugout. Found the map, knew where it was at.
For everybody at home, we're just waiting on the county
There is,
attorney approval.
there's not a specific provision for the mill site. There is a provision in the lease to defer to the lessor, which is the county, regarding any use of the county of the demised premises for use by the lessor for lessor-sponsored activities, provided all costs associated with the sponsored activities are paid for and the responsibilities of the lessor. So if you want to designate the mill site as a lessor-sponsored activity, and we covered for the cost of that, I think you probably can take care of that with the provisions that are in the lease.
Yes, sir. So, Ms. Boyd, once the changes are made, I'll get it to Chris Maney, our Park and Rec Director, and he will come see you, get a signature, and then bring it back for my signature once we get that language added. I said, all right, add it in there or go with it, Don?
It's already in the lease, so I think what we've done is for specific county-sponsored activities that we need to use that building for, that basically, as long as we pay for it, you can notify those folks that we're going to be using it, as long as there's good, proper communication between county administration and the community club.
Chair Wexler, this does require your signature because it's over 1 year that the county manager's authorized.
Understood.
And Mandy has prepared a separate resolution that would authorize execution of the lease and approval of it. And she has run the required notice in the paper at least 30 days ahead of time, informing the public that you would be considering executing this lease.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the lease. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, move to a vote. All in favor of approving the lease for the for the Upper Laurel Community Center? All in favor? All right. That one's done. You got your lease. All right. Up next, Colonel, is,
Gentleman, 7D, that's the Spring Creek Community Center Lease and Resolution. The spokeswoman for that will be Allison Vate. I think that there's some apprehension the way the lease is written right now. Allison, don't let me put words in your mouth, but right now it's the building and the surrounding grounds only. It does not extend, and I believe that Spring Creek's desire is to have all of it put inside the lease.
for the folks at home, Ms. McVeigh, would you please step to the podium so everybody at home can hear with any discussion that goes on?
Yes, we, Spring Creek Community Center would like to request that we have time to discuss the lease, because there are 5 or 6 issues, that being one of them, that the property has changed, that we historically have been responsible for, and would like consideration for that. We would like consideration that the lease be longer than 4 years and 9 months.
We adjusted it to 5 in the lease they have in front of them.
Okay. Okay. Discussion about who's responsible for the drive into the building and around the back and the exit that goes to the collection center. So there's a variety of little issues that we would like to have the chance to sit down with the county and discuss.
So it sounds like there's obviously some additional discussion that needs to take place. At this time, I will make a motion that we table the discussion on the lease for the Spring Creek Community Center pending additional consultation time between the county and the community center representatives. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garrison. Any discussion?
Just to understand that communication with the county, we're authorizing Colonel Honeycutt to continue as you folks have done historically.
Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of tabling this lease at this time? All right. It's tabled.
Thank you. We appreciate your willingness to work with us.
Thank you, Ms. McVeigh.
I'll ask Chris Maney to reach out to both parties and make sure we got space on the calendar. So we can, Gentlemen, next is the Walnut lease. It would be at 7E.
Correct.
And Nikki Reed will be the spokesman for the Walnut community. Gentlemen, same terms and condition, 5 years at $1. And I think there's similar discussions necessary about the grounds and in and around the building versus just the drive around it.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I prepared some comments. So, good evening. My name is Nikki Reed. I'm a resident of the Walnut community, and I'm here tonight representing the Walnut Community Center Foundation as a board member. First, though, I just want to take the opportunity to thank you. I know with everything that the county has going on right now in response to the storm, I just want to say thank you for bringing these leases forward. We really appreciate that. I did want to offer a few highlights about what the Walnut Community Center has been doing. I wanted to highlight that day one after the storm, we came together at the community center to serve as a hub for information and supplies. We held daily briefings, and the Walnut Volunteer Fire Department came and spoke to our community when we were without cell signal, without internet. We started a food pantry, and I do just want to pause and just say thank you to all the people, the churches that donated to our food pantry, even people from outside of our area and other churches from the region came and trusted the community center with their donations to make sure that we saw that those got into the hands of our neighbors that needed them. We also provided heaters. I was listening to the comments earlier from your long-term recovery group, and I'm just so happy that we are in alignment with that work that you all are doing. At this point, we have started to track the number of people that we're serving with the food pantry, and in January and February, we averaged about 150 families a month. We want to continue to provide that kind of information to the county to just let y'all know how we are serving the community together with your support. Before Helene, we just wrapped up a year-long farmers market that helped anywhere from 10 to 15 small businesses every week deliver their farm products to our community. We continued a tradition that's been held since the 90s, as far as I understand, with the Walnut School Reunion, and we hosted other community events to bring people together. So again, we appreciate the opportunity to serve in partnership with the county, and at this time I would like to address the lease. We would request the opportunity to have more time to review the lease and are asking for you to pause on taking action tonight. Our board has yet to convene to review that together, so we just need to do that. We certainly take our responsibility with respect to the lease very seriously. We want to give time for our board members to review that and then come back with any questions or more information that we need. So again, thank you on behalf of the Walnut Community Center Foundation.
Thank you, Ms. Reed. So we've heard the request from the folks there at Walnut Community Center, and at this time I also am prepared to make a motion that we table the discussion for the lease with the Walnut Community Center Foundation so that they can have additional discussions with county staff in order to make sure that everybody's on the same page and understands exactly what expectations are on behalf of each party involved. So I'll make that in the form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wyatt. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of tabling the lease? All right. Good deal. We've got that one set up for further discussion for you folks then.
All right, gentlemen, last item on the agenda tonight will be the original 7H, which is county board appointments, which is now 7F.
All right, the first item we have is a 3-year term, Board of Adjustment seat currently held by Ernie Ramsey. At this time, my understanding that Mr. Ramsey, why would the microphone get hot all of a sudden? My understanding Mr. Ramsey has agreed to continue to serve if so desired by this board. And at this time, I'll make a motion that we reappoint Mr. Ernest Ramsey for a 3-year term on Board of Adjustments. Second by Vice Chairman Hensley. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? All right. We have another position on Board of Adjustment. This will be a 3-year term. These were originally, if I'm not mistaken, were originally 1-year terms. What we have done, we staggered those so that the board will not completely all transition over at one time, so they will be equally replaced in 3-year increments. So this will now be a 3-year term. The seat currently is held by Tyler Harwood, and at this time, I'll entertain a motion to either reappoint Tyler Harwood or to appoint a replacement.
So moved.
So move to reappoint.
That's correct.
Okay. Commissioner Garrison with the motion to reappoint Tyler Harwood. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wyatt. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? And we have a Transportation Advisory Board position. So this board is a vacant position. The requirement for this board is a 2-year appointment, but the requirement is that it be a private transit provider. At this time, I only know of one that is operating in the county outside of the county, operations, and that's Dan Wilson, if I'm not mistaken. But we don't have an application for Mr. Wilson. Do we know what Mr. Wilson's intent is?
He resigned from the board.
Oh, this is because of a resignation, I'm sorry. I just thought his term had expired. So at this point in time, we don't have anyone to replace him with. So if there is someone out there in the room or online watching that is a public transit provider or private transit provider in the county that has an interest in serving on the Transportation Advisory Board, I would suggest that individual go ahead and submit an application as quickly as possible to the county manager's office. So at this point, I will table that position. I will make a motion that we table the position for the Transportation Advisory Board. Is there a second? Second by Vice Chairman Hensley. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? All right, that position is tabled. And we've got some upcoming vacancies that will be coming up next month, but we'll deal with those at that time. But you guys have that for your record to be prepared for the next round here. This time, that concludes all of our regularly scheduled business for tonight, and we will need to I would need to entertain a motion at this time that we go into closed session. And this time we will be going into closed session under North Carolina General Statute 143-3.11A3 for attorney-client privilege, and A5 for land acquisition discussions. I'll make that in the form of a motion. Is there a second? Second by Vice Chairman Hensley. Any discussion?
Do you have personnel on there as well?
Personnel will be a separate, that's a continuation of the previous meeting, so we'll deal with that separately. Is that correct, Madam Clerk? All right. So, my original motion stands. Is there, we have a second? Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? All right, and we will go into that after approximately a 10-minute recess, so everybody has the opportunity to use the restroom. that we return to open session?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Garrison, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wyatt. Colonel?
Jim, I got two actions for your approval and consideration. First is approval of the Mars Hill water portion of the 213 water project, totaling $4.417 million.
I'll make that informal motion that we approve that.
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman Hensley, second by Commissioner Garrison, that we approve the contract on the Mars Hill side of the water project. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor? All right, we'll see shovels on the ground on 213 and within a month or so, we hope. So, Colonel, you have another item?
Jim, the next one is for the Fairview Water Project, the Hot Springs Water Project engineering agreement, totaling of $563,300.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Garrison, second by Vice Chairman Hensley. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Move on with the Fairview Water Project.
Jim, that completes all the agenda items for this meeting.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Oh,
We've got to go back in, that's a continuation of the previous meeting. We're ready to adjourn, correct? What's your concern, Mr. Garrison?
Mandy's shaking her head, yes, I'm with her.
What's that?
You're out. Yeah.
Okay, all right, very good. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Wyatt, second. I'll second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? We stand